Welcome everyone. So for those of you that are just joining, please take a couple of minutes and fill this, give us your, share your thoughts on this question that's here.
So you can go to the URL on the top and you can use the code to put in your answers here.
Hi, Ajay. So Davis, I think he has a problem with his audio because can the rest of you hear me? If you can hear me, just do a thumbs up. Awesome. Cool. And then, we can probably also paste the URL of the of this survey. So can somebody post the URL of the survey in the chat box so people can just directly click on it? Matan, your statements are so funny. So type it in the survey. So in that link that's been shared, type in your answer there. The Menti code is up there. So 3520 space 0294. So it's on top of the slide, the Menti code. Awesome. And for all those of you that have turned your cameras on, thank you very much. It gives me a lot of energy just seeing you guys there. So it feels like I'm in a room kind of talking to people. It makes the whole event very human. So thank you very much for turning on your cameras. Awesome. So based on what we are seeing anywhere between 3 weeks to 3 days. So that's where we are seeing the spread. There's also 2 weeks. There's a lot of, widespread, but overall it ranges between 3 days to 3 weeks. And that's what we have right now. So the goal for today, what we are going to do today, right, is literally going to say, how quickly can we do this task? And I'm going to challenge you guys. I'm going to do this live. I have no idea what's going to happen. Okay. But what I want you guys to do is set up a timer. When I say start the timer, and then let's watch how long it takes for me to generate a bunch of ideas. Okay. And that's what we are going to do today. And then by the end of today's session, within this 1 hour session, we're going to generate at least 5 ideas that we believe that we can, are good enough. All right. So everybody ready for this? Just say yes, or just type in yes, or do a thumbs up, and we are ready to go on for the next slide. Awesome. Let's go. Very nice.
So I'll take it from here, Prasad, for a couple of minutes. So a very warm welcome to everyone who has joined our Automate UX Design with AI workshop today. And for the next 3 days, we are going to learn how to use AI in UX design. Now it's time to know your mentor. So let me quickly introduce Prasad. Prasad comes with 20 plus years of experience where he has built, trained, and mentored high performance design teams around the globe. He is the chief instructor at College, and he also co-founded UX Reactor, an INC 5,000 company, and which is having a global presence. To name a few other companies that Prasad has worked with, they are multinationals such as Yahoo, Honeywell, eBay, Nokia, ServiceNow. And he has also published multiple journals and 7 scientific research papers in domains such as information retrieval, education, design. He also has 6 published patents to his credit. Another very interesting fact about Prasad is that he was the principal researcher responsible for designing and launching the search assistant feature, which is something which is used by every internet user around the globe today. So that's Prasad, our mentor. Over to you, Prasad, now.
Thanks, Soy. So I don't really like talking about myself for those of you that have seen me for the long term, but usually what happens is then we notice there's a lot of new people and everybody say, great, you gave a great talk, but who are you? So at the end of the session, people are still scratching their head. So we had to put this slide in. So thank you very much. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so let's look at this one use case, right? Let's imagine this use case. How many of you have had the situation where you say, somebody comes to you and say, here's something that needs to be done by the end of the day, and this is super urgent, you need to get this done. Awesome. So for those of you that are looking at the results, right, there are 11% that have never faced this situation. And I say, you guys are absolutely lucky, right? For the remaining 89%, welcome to the club. This has happened in pretty much most of our lives, where there is always some last minute emergency situation, right? And somehow there is this requirement for like, let's magically make this happen. And you know, earlier it used to be really hard. We used to probably work all night or whatever and get stuff done. But today we are in a state where there are lots of tools available where we can do lots of amazing stuff. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so here's an exact, you know, this is a video where you see like how we did it, and I'm going to physically do it today as well. So let's go ahead and play this.
What's the worst thing that can happen to a UX designer on a Friday at work? You're wrapping up your work, you have a movie to catch, but then you get this message from your boss. The client wants to create a portfolio website. Can you ideate and share this by EOD? Friday plans destroyed. Right? Wrong. Because you have a newfound superpower, AI. Let's get this rolling. First, let's get through ideation. Taking initial thoughts to the tool. Let's try a few things to get this right. Need to refine a little bit more, then fast forward to testing the recommendations, checking color options, moving quickly into typography, which brings us to customizing the right prompts. Then using the prompts to generate screens, narrowing it down to what you think works best. And done. Send this to boss, he's happy, and you're on time for the movie. If you want to design UX smarter and faster, check our upcoming workshop. Register now to automate UX design with AI.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one. So this is the intention. So
What's
this is
the worst
exactly, we
things that can
fast
happen to
forwarded
a UX designer on a
the whole experience. And this is the intention of what we're going to do today. So today we are literally going to look at how you're going to do instant visual design ideation. Okay. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, it's going to be all hands-on where you guys are going to practice and you're going to do the same stuff that we've been doing and showing. And you guys are going to practice how to do your workflows, wireframes, design brief, and then a visually engaging product. Okay, it's going to be completely hands-on. So we will also give you work, right? So you need to have signed up with specific AI tools so you're ready to use them when we ask you to. And then while we are demoing, you are also playing with your tools, and then we are answering the questions in a we are demoing and sharing our ideas as we're learning together. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. Okay, for those of you that are on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed so that you get access to this content as well as the other videos that are coming in. And then, we have a lot of other videos as well where we are training people on how to do design. Let's go to the next slide. So why are we doing this? And our goal is simple. I represent companies, right? So for me, it is really important to identify, hire, and develop the best talent. So that is what my goal is. And so a lot of these programs, in fact, all of these programs are subsidized by companies that support us. And this helps me kind of bring out the latest content, share what's going on in the industry, and also share our experiences. And ideally, we want this to be a platform where we are having a discussion between companies and individuals and say, how can we better kind of partner together to create an amazing product or amazing ecosystem? So let's go on to the next slide. All right. So for those of you that are looking at it, we have lots of free resources. We have memberships. We have a hire-a-thon that we're planning for summer. And we've got training programs that are in place. So again, these are all free, but I would encourage you just look up college.com and check it out. That's fine. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay. Core guidelines for this, for being a part of this workshop is this is a safe environment, participate and contribute actively, right? Be kind and courteous to everybody, respect people's privacy, and keep your cameras on so that I can see you and we can engage. All right. Let's go on to the next slide, please. Awesome. Now, here's the task that we're going to achieve today. Okay. And we have what, 21, it's 10:21 for me in the US. So I have what, about 40 minutes, about 39 minutes to kind of get this job done. Okay. Now, here's the question. Imagine you want to create your own personal website. Okay. To showcase your personality and the projects that you've worked on as a UX designer. So that's your goal. You're creating your portfolio website. Okay. So the question is, which AI tool would you use? All right. So we're going to just launch out a poll. Just go ahead and type it in. So there are three choices: ChatGPT, MidJourney, neither. ChatGPT is a text-based thing. MidJourney creates images. And, neither is, you're not going to use either, right? So ChatGPT again is purely text. It does not give you any images. All right. Awesome. Awesome. So I want you to look at this, and this is your first and most important lesson that you're going to learn today. Okay. A majority of you have basically said, about 80 to 90% of you have said that, probably about 86% have said this. You're either going to use ChatGPT or MidJourney. Okay. And that is your biggest mistake, right? Never ever do that, right? So you're not going to jump in directly. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a strategy. Well, what do I want, right? So understand what you need and then plan for different AIs. So the answer here is actually neither, right? You're going to use a combination of both. Okay, because one is going to engage with text, one is going to generate images, but both of them speak different languages. Okay, and so you're going to work with both of these tools to get your work done. So my answer is step back, really think about what you want to achieve, and then plan accordingly. Let's go on to the next one. And this is probably the biggest mistake that we will do, whenever we're going to engage with AI. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. So the idea here is this: you're the boss, the AI is a helper. So the first thing you need to understand is you need to understand the context of what you're trying to drive and the specificity. So you need to be very, very specific that about what you're basically trying to do. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay. Let's understand both of these tools, right? ChatGPT. And again, there are lots of tools out there for this workshop. I'm primarily going to focus on these tools because these are the ones that are going to create most of the magic for you. Okay. But the strengths with ChatGPT is very versatile. It can use a wide range of tasks, custom coding. It can write code, translate, proofreading, all that stuff. It can be, and the main thing is it can be trained to be better, right? So there's a training process that's involved. The weak thing is it's like, I generally find that ChatGPT for me is, you have to understand the language, you have to understand the prompts or how you're going to engage with it. Okay. And you might also, understand that the ChatGPT literally takes everything, whatever you're saying at face value. So you have to be very, very particular and careful about it. Okay. And there are biases that are inbuilt into it. So you have to just basically understand what task it is good for, what it's not good for. Another really interesting thing that we discovered with ChatGPT is, okay, we tried different ways of prompting. Okay. So first way we said was, hey, this is how you write a letter. Okay. We gave the whole training and say, now here are my thoughts, generate the letter. Okay. It would give me one output. The other way is I would say, okay, here are my thoughts, generate this section first, this section first, this section next, and then say, now merge all these sections to create the letter. It would give me another output, right? So literally the way and the order in which you ask your questions also changes the way ChatGPT works. And so we need to be very cognizant about it. And again, this stuff is going to change because right now you're at 3.5, version 3.5, there's a 4.0 that's also out, which will probably be more commonly available in probably another 6 months to a year. And then you're going to have more versions. And as a version changes, these capabilities will change. But for now, this is where ChatGPT is. Let's go to the next slide. Now, MidJourney, and I'm not going to talk specifically MidJourney. There's like lots of visual generation tools that are out there, generative tools, which is DALL-E or Blue Willow, MidJourney, there's a bunch of these guys, right? But I personally, so far, through all of our experimentation, we've found that MidJourney is probably one of the strongest image generation guys, right? And so Blue Willow is probably a second. DALL-E has not made it out, succeeded for me. And again, I'm going to talk about this. And again, keep in mind that the AI tool revolution is just about started. So you're going to see a lot of tools literally on a monthly basis. So what my recommendations are today will change a month from now. Okay. So the strength is it can generate really good images very, very quickly, right? And it can be trained to do specific kinds of styles. Okay. However, right, the main thing that you need to do is the command prompt is very, very technical, right? It's not very, it's technical, right? So you have to understand the technicalities of how to use it. Okay. And so that's what it is. So this is where you're basically looking at MidJourney as a potential way to generate a bunch of diverse images and generate ideation. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. So the question that people will ask me is, okay, so let's actually step back, right? So the main point I want to basically drill down again is never use any of these AIs as a replacement for you. Okay. You are always going to be in control. Okay. And so you need to know how to talk to these AIs, how to get the work done. So that is your responsibility. You need to know when they've made a mistake and you need to know how to correct it. Okay. So that's a game. So now with that said, let's jump into the demo and see how I'm going to do it. Okay. So the task here is, wait. Joshni, aram se. So the task here is, imagine that you want to create your own personal website, right? That is the portfolio. I'm going to create my portfolio. I want to showcase my personality on the project that I've worked on as a UX designer. So this is what I want to do. I want to showcase my case studies. I want to showcase my personality, and that's the goal for me. Okay. So if you have timers, start the timers. Let's see how quickly we can do this. So we have 32 minutes left before the end of this session, or at least by the end of this hour. Okay, so 32 minutes mein mere ko complete karna hai. That is my personal goal. And again, I genuinely don't know. Every time I use the AI, I get different results. But we are going to, what we have done is we have done some R&D, we have created some standard prompts, and these prompts we will share with you. When we are doing the hands-on exercise and stuff like that, we will share these prompts with you so you can do exactly the same for yourself. Okay, ready? Thumbs up. Awesome, let's go. So let's actually share our Excel sheet first. Okay. So this is the first thing we're going to do when we are planning. Okay, when we plan our design, okay, what do we need to? We need to decide the color, the typography, the content, the visual elements, and the section layout. Okay, these are the core things that we need to figure out. Okay, now when you're looking at the graphical and visual elements, that is one aspect, but the layout itself is visual, right? So at the very least, when you're looking at all of these things, okay, the color, well, what color should I use? Okay, well, ChatGPT can probably give me. And by the way, there are other tools. Because I'm doing this on a hurried note, I'm only going to use one tool, but there are other tools that we will use when we do the actual demo. Okay, so color, we need to decide what the primary and secondary color is. Typography, we need to figure out what the heading, subheading, and the descriptions are. We need to figure out, the content, which is, how are we basically do the content typography. Then we've done what visual elements are we going to put on the screen. We need to figure that out. And then we need to put all of this together and generate a visual layout. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So let's start with color. Let's figure out what we're going to do. So let's go into the chat. And again, we've pre-prepared some of these guys. So we're going to start, help me design my portfolio. And this is the first command you're giving, where you're priming. So ChatGPT, interestingly, is one of those guys that understands the sequence of commands. So it will always take your current command in the context of your previous command or the previous data that you've shared. Okay, so that is why you're basically priming the AI. Okay, let's go ahead and hit enter. Now, is this what we wanted? Is this sufficient for us? Not really, right? We are generating one screen. Okay. So the idea here is we made a mistake because we did not give it context. Okay. And we were not specific. These were the two mistakes I made. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do another command that is going to give context and it's going to avoid be very specific. So let's do the next content. So let's look at this. So what we're doing here is I'm giving the context. I'm a UX designer. I want to create my UX portfolio. Good, right? Who is my user, right? My target audience are companies and clients that are hiring UX designers. So you're giving it the context to go from there. So, and this will come back to us. You will notice that ChatGPT is now using this statement as a primer for the following decisions it's going to make for us. Okay. And I want to design a hero section. So I'm being very specific for the same page together. Hero section goal is it should be minimal and informative for my users to know. And again, I'm in control, right? I am explaining what my vision for my site is. Okay. It is going to be minimal and it's going to be informative. Okay. And then, it says in order to design the hero section, I will give a series of questions. So this is another interesting strategy. Okay. A lot of people, what they do is design the hero section for me and tell me what to do. ChatGPT is not going to work for you that way. Okay. What you need to do is you need to take the big task, break it into smaller tasks, make it do these smaller tasks and then tell it to merge everything together. Then it will work. Okay. So look at it in terms of smaller tasks. And that is again, something that you need to figure out. What is the decomposition of what I'm trying to do with this system? Okay. So let's go ahead and hit enter on this. All right. It says I'm ready now. I understand. I've got the context. Okay. And I understand specifically what needs to be done. Now let's start with the specific questions that we have. Let's go and now this is the first one. Remember, we talked about colors, right? So I said, okay, can you suggest a complementary color combination for the hero section? Okay. Divyashree, can you tell me where, what part you want me to repeat? You can unmute yourself.
Hi, sir.
Hey.
It's a great section. You were about small minimize it. Didn't get that point actually.
Okay, so I'm assuming you were breaking up, but I'm
Why
assuming you're
type-
saying that the small tasks, break this problem
Yes.
into smaller problems. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so the idea is don't just tell it to generate my screen for me, right? You have to break it down. So if you go to the Excel sheet, that's exactly what we've done. We've broken the task down, right? So if I have to design, first I need to decide my colors, then I need to decide my typography, then I need to decide my content, then I need to decide what visual elements are going to go there, then I need to decide what section layout is going to be, right? So I have broken down my larger task into smaller tasks. And now I'm specifically going to ask ChatGPT for each of these smaller tasks. Okay. If you go for the large task, what happens? You don't control what ChatGPT is going to do. Make sense? Just do thumbs up if it makes sense for you. Awesome. Cool. Let's go on. Okay. So now what I'm doing is colors. First thing. So I'm saying, can you suggest multiple complementary color combinations for the hero section? With the color name and the hex code. So it's clear. Okay. Then below is the table. So now notice, we are telling it that below is the table, add it into a table format. And again, why I'm saying in table? Because ChatGPT is notorious for generating a lot of text. And you don't know what text is important, what text is not important. So asking in a tabular format allows you to read the information quickly and consume it in a way that makes sense to you. Okay. So that is an important trick that we do here. Okay. So then we say, whenever I mention finalized recommendation, add this in. Okay. So that's what we are saying, and we've given this standard comment. And then we are also saying table will have column 1 will be elements. The column 2 will be the recommendation, and we have basically set it up very clearly. All right, let's go. Hit enter. There you go. So it's giving me a series of recommendations, and I'm like, wait. All it's doing is deep blue, pale blue, olive green, mustard yellow. Okay, that makes sense. Dark gray, dark teal, light teal, deep blue, pale blue. So I don't really like these recommendations. These do not make sense, right? So what I'm doing is I'm saying, give me more recommendations. Okay. And so the idea here is, the idea I'm saying, you are always in control. You're looking at this and you're trying to figure out. And by the way, at this point, what I would have done is there are probably other tools, and I would basically go in and, test these colors in these other tools where I'd say, okay, how would my page look like? And then I would make a decision. Okay. So I'm saying dark purple and lilac, forest green and light green. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to say, listen, I like charcoal and light blue-gray. That is not the final recommendation, but it's in the previous one. Let's assume that I've tested all my colors, but just from my memory, I can say that those would make a good combination for me. So let's change it. So I say, please change the recommendation to charcoal and light blue-gray. So again, this is where, for those of you that are looking, Humint is a place where I test my colors. I'm basically going to say, how would this screen look like with those combinations? Okay. And so we've decided charcoal and light blue gray. Let's put it into our Excel sheet. And then also let the AI know that the final recommendation for me is charcoal and light blue gray. So again, you're basically telling the AI to create a common prompt. So that's how you're adding all this up. Okay. All right. So it's still, okay, cool. Now the next step, let's go back to the Excel sheet. What is our next challenge that we need to figure out? Typography. Kaun sa typography chahiye? So let's go back in and let's put in our next command. And so again, right, with the above hero section in mind, can you give me a typography styles and recommendations with taglines and font sizes and all that stuff? With headlines, what am I going to do at headlines, tagline, and description? So those are the three things. And then say, give me a finalized recommendation. So go ahead, let's hit enter, right? Now, you might also say, give me finalized recommendations based on the most commonly used fonts on the internet. Because you might say, I want to reduce my load time or whatever the default load screens and all that. You might give that command, okay? But overall, it says, okay, Poppins bold, Open Sans, and Open Sans regular, right? So this is what it's saying. So let's try these colors out very quickly. So there's another website called FontJoy, okay? Poppins and Open Sans. Let's try out what Poppins and Open Sans looks like. So again, this is where you're testing it out. You're visually looking at it and you're saying, okay, so I'm going to choose Poppins 700 or 600. Let's use 600. That's the 700 is too thick. Yeah, okay. Now let's go to Open Sans, and we got Open Sans on both. Yeah. So you got Open Sans and you're looking at it and you're saying, well, will my fonts look good on this? Okay. And ideally, you would probably do different combinations and it might decide that, it doesn't work. Or you might have a favorite font and you might ask ChatGPT, like, take this favorite font and what other fonts can I use with this font? That's also a valid prompt that you can give to ChatGPT. But here you've kind of decided, okay, what font pairing do you want? So this font pairing makes sense. That's fine. We will take the recommendation. Let's go on to our ChatGPT. So this is where we are. Okay. So let's go on to the next one. So that's fine. All of this is good. So let's go to the next. Let's go to the Excel sheet. Yeah. And then go ahead and type it in. Okay. Next step, we need to generate content. Okay. So let's do the next command. Okay. So we're saying, can you suggest me headlines, taglines, and descriptions and call to action in a tabular format? And you're basically saying, let's go. So this is the command. So you're saying, okay, so for my website, what are we going to do? So I'm looking for content recommendations. And notice that, some of this is very, cliched. Some of this is, you have to be very careful because this is identifying your personality, right? And I'm looking at all of this and I'm saying, really, none of these talk to me because I'm a fairly senior guy. And just saying that I'm going to be like crafting user experiences, it seems like I'm applying for an individual contributor role, right? So I would say, let me make my headline outcome-driven design leader. Okay. So let's change the command. So I want to, I want my headline to be outcome-driven design leader. Please give me recommendations based on that. Please generate the table accordingly or whatever. So either ways, it's fine. And again, this is interesting because a lot of us will struggle with content, and content is a major part of your website, right? There you go. So I know I've got outcome-driven design leader, right? But notice now it's also challenging me. It says result-driven user experience designer. It's basically looking at other ways of phrasing myself, right? And it's got like a lot of different ways of looking at it. So let's look at the final recommendation. So it's delivering designs that impact businesses and users. Okay, so the problem that I see in my description is it doesn't talk about my team skills, right? My team building skills. It's still talking about, even though it says I'm a leader on top. And notice, this is a problem because this is where AI can trip you up, because if you just take this and put it in there, all of a sudden somebody reading your portfolio will say, yeah, this guy's a junior guy is acting like a senior, right? And so you have to be really, really careful. So you notice it says, okay, this is an individual design. I'm a design leader. I use my skills in research, strategy, and design to create design. But my thing is, it needs to focus on my team building skills and my ability to drive change within an organization. Those are the things I wanted to do. So let's actually scroll up and see if there are any other descriptions that actually work for us. I help businesses create designs that are most desired. I use my skills in research design. Okay, no. So do you see anywhere where it talks about my team building skills and my ability to drive change in an organization? Do you see anywhere that stuff? Yeah. So we have a problem. So what do? We basically go back to ChatGPT and say, well, can you change the description to talk about? So in the final recommendation, can you change the description to highlight my ability to manage and lead, grow and build teams? In the description, right? Can you change the description to reflect the fact that I am able to build and manage large complex teams? So we have 14 minutes to do this. Let's see if we can get this done. Right? All right. Does it say that? Yep, there you go. So again, I'm not particularly happy with this, but at this point, it's a law of diminishing returns, right? Now, the more I work, I give prompts to it, it's just going to take more time. At this point, I know that it's enough that I can manage it and edit it myself, but I know there is a mistake here. Okay, so let's just copy and paste all of this content into our Excel sheet. And instead of view my portfolio, let us look at a CTA that we like. I think a CTA would be let's talk or something like that. So I'm going to edit the description. I'm not perfectly happy with the description, but I will edit it. That's fine. But for now, our goal is to get the screen. So for those of you, I know somebody asked about a certificate. My thing is, yes, we will talk about the certificate in the end, because right now we are running a little bit against time. I have 13 minutes left, so I need to kind of get this taken care of. Okay. So, but for now, this is fine. So now I'm basically going to say, well, what are the graphical elements? Because now we are getting close to the next component. So you say, what elements, section layout, description should I put in there? And then with the final recommendations, right? So let's get going. Go ahead, Ramakrishna. You have something to add? Okay. So notice the final recommendations are you need a hero image and the full screen background, right? So you need a background. So let's actually say, can you give me recommendations for what I can put as my final hero image, as my hero image? So you are systematically now drilling down into it and it's giving you the description. And again, a lot of this when you're dealing with ChatGPT might seem a little bit frustrating because you're saying it's taking a lot of time. But the thing is, once you understand this, right, then it's very quick. Once you put it into MidJourney, it is going to be like super quick, right? But this is the part that you're doing before to prepare for that time when you're engaging with MidJourney. All right, let's go on. So it says an image of my workplace or design tools, a screenshot, right? A hero image. Let's scroll down a little bit, please, so everybody can see the response. Awesome. So an abstract of the design style and aesthetic, right? So I actually like this, an image of workplace or design, but again, I'm a little bit frustrated because it did not include my ability to lead teams or like engage teams or build great change or whatever. But I'm okay with that. So let's actually look at the sketchbook, or we'll take the first recommendation, image of a workplace with sketchbooks and all that stuff, right? So that is what we want as our hero image. Right. So Sandeep, we'll get to that. Don't worry about it. So for now, let's just focus on the basic high level stuff. All right. So now we've kind of gotten this. So what we got now, we need to create a layout. Right. So let's go back. Yeah. So I like that. So now so we are basically creating the command, right? So the section layout is a full screen background and a layout. So now let's actually give this to MidJourney and see what happens, right? Will this be able to create a screen for us? Okay. And we have about 10 minutes left. So let's see how we're going to be able to do this. So MidJourney, do we have any other commands here?
Yes, there's one.
There's one more. Let's try put that in. Let's see. So can you summarize the conversation? So again, you've put all of this. Now we are asking it to summarize so that it will be able to create a description for us. Okay. So let's go ahead and hit enter. Yes, that's absolutely right, Davis. You have to be very, very descriptive, right? Or you have to be engaged with the whole process. Okay. So there you go. So you basically asked it, give me a MidJourney prompt. Okay. And it's created the MidJourney prompt for you. Awesome. Okay, let's take this prompt and put it into MidJourney. Let's see what happens. So this is MidJourney, and then it's got a certain command prompt. And again, based on the different tool, it's literally like you have different AI tools. Everyone is speaking a different language. One guy is speaking Italian, the other person is speaking Kannada. Now you are sitting in the middle and trying to coordinate with both of these guys. Okay, go ahead and hit enter. Let's see what happens. So we're going to see our suggestion come through, and then we'll see how that goes. Now, notice how beautiful these images are, right? MidJourney is just like a phenomenal machine, and this is only going to improve over time. This is improving literally every month, every week. And again, the point is, as consumers, we have to be thinking like, okay, I don't care whether it's MidJourney, it could be Blue Willow, it could be DALL-E, it doesn't matter, right? We're going to play with everything. Has it generated anything for us? So yeah, so while it's generating, if you have any question, I'd be happy to answer right now. So we have a good recommendation, which is probably keep searching by conversation. So would you like to do that, Rajiv? Do you think? Well, it's not. Is it bad UX? I think, Sandeep, this is a very interesting point, right? Is this bad UX? I would argue this is amazing UX because it is basically you're on a trial and you're watching amazing screens come through. So I think it's amazing UX because you're able to browse what it is capable of doing. So it's educating you while you're waiting. Right? It will send you a notification when you are not seeing it. So when you're not on the tab, it is sending you a notification. So Rajiv, can you search again? Let's see. When you send the prompt, just select it like copy so it won't go anywhere. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, don't worry about being confused, right? So all I want to show you right now is what it is capable of doing. By the time we're done with day 3, you guys will learn, right? You guys will basically use this tool yourself and you will know how to make it happen.
Just enter the prompt again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's giving it, probably because either the prompt didn't work or whatever. So, okay, you did not accept the terms of service. That's a problem. Yep. Now, how many of you think it's going to work? How many think it's not going to work? Anybody? Will work? Just type it in. Let's see how many think it's going to work. Partially, it will work. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Yeah. You know, after I learned MidJourney, this was interesting, right? I looked at it, I'm like, holy crap, right? This is going to make my life so simple, you know? And I also was kind of thinking like people who just do graphic design are going to have a tough time dealing with MidJourney because it's literally like doing their work for them. All right. So now it generated something for me. Right. Now let's actually look at the high fidelity image and see what's wrong here. Did it work? Did it work? Yeah, it looks like a resume. It doesn't look like a website, isn't it? So the problem here was this. Let's go back to our command. Okay. And let's understand what mistake we did in our command. Okay. So it says, I am a UX designer creating a portfolio website for companies. Now understand, MidJourney does not understand commands just like ChatGPT does. So let's edit this. So let's take this and put it in Notepad and edit this command. Okay. And then once we edit it, then we'll come back and we will play with it. Notepad. Can you do Notepad, Rajiv? All right. So, okay. Mansi, all we are doing is we are trying to give commands to a AI, right? So we have generated the commands from ChatGPT and we have given it to MidJourney, which generates the pictures. Okay. Then we looked at the picture and we said it looks like a resume. It doesn't look like a website, right? So then what we did was we said we need to edit the command, because what what MidJourney did, we gave it too much information, right? Let's reduce the information. And again, don't worry about it. All I want you to see is just observe this and see if, and appreciate what is going on, because you will learn to do this on day 2 and day 3. Aap khud apne haath se karoge, right? So do not worry about it. Okay. So right now we are here and I'm saying I'm a UX designer, right? So let's get rid of this. So let's say that I want to create a UX portfolio page, create the landing page for a UX portfolio. Yeah, we ran out of time. So like, okay, so just 10. So let's see how long it takes though. So let's see, create the landing page for a portfolio, right? For companies and clients, nikal do. Why does MidJourney does not understand that? Like, what do I need to do for companies and clients, right? So then the goal is, right? So my goal is to remove that. Just say design a minimal and informative. Design a minimal and informative hero section, a page. Don't say hero section, page. Yeah, exactly, Naga. People say it's going to take over your job. It's not. It's going to be your direct report. It's like, imagine that your first job, you're going to have 2 people reporting to you in ChatGPT, and MidJourney or some other guy is going to be reporting to you, right? So that's what it is. Okay. So design an informative page that showcases skills and experience, right? Color scheme, recommended color scheme. Let's move it down. Move that sentence down, that whole sentence. Cut it and move it down. Now, interesting, right? Should we mention typography? I don't think you should, because MidJourney, go back to MidJourney and see what it created for us, right? The typography it created does not make sense at all, right? There is no typography there. So this is your job as you're integrating everything to it. Okay. So don't worry about the typography, because it's an irrelevant piece of information for it. Okay. But colors, absolutely, you should do it. So we are going to do the command. So let's go back to our Word document. Okay. So add a line for the colors. Put an empty line between the color. My recommended color scheme, put an empty line there. One more empty line. Okay. Now, headline outcome driven design leader does not even make sense, because it does not dealing with text, right? So there's no point in giving text. But tomorrow, if there's an AI that is able to integrate your text into its stuff, that's going to be amazing, right? But today it is not. So there's no point giving text. So get rid of the text component. Right? So the hero image. So what did you put the hero image? A hero image of people of various, what did we put in our document? Hero image. Yeah. The hero image is what? Define that. Of, yeah, is a workspace or design tool such as Sketchbook and other to showcase the process, right? The page will have a navigation bar with a logo and at least 3 elements. So, again, because of the way that it's remotely, it takes some time for it to type out. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then get rid of that's fine. And then say the color scheme is going to be charcoal and light blue green. Right? Kishore, the reason I'm using Word is so you guys can see it also. So that's why I'm doing it. So it's like it's much clear, right? And then you say this is where the magic comes in. Okay, say comma. And then say UI. Say UI, full stop, blue gray full stop. UI, comma, UX. Comma, right? There's minus V4. And again, V4 is the version of MidJourney. And so all these tools will have specific syntax, right? Minus V4. And then you're going to say space, minus, and there is S. There's a command prompt S. And again, don't worry about these details. You will learn this, right? I'm going to put 700 because S is random, right? How creative do you want the software to be? So 0 is no creative. 1000 is absolutely creative. Go crazy with it. Okay. So now we are basically saying this, and now let's put this, copy this, and put this into MidJourney. And again, this is where your understanding of the tool capabilities and all that stuff comes into play. Okay. So now go ahead and type it in. Yeah, let's see. And the moment you say UI, UX, you're also telling the tool that it is a way for this tool to simplify. Okay. If you haven't hit enter, can you also add minimalistic and simple? Okay. So let's put another command there. Let's put another command. Same, copy the same thing. And UI, UX, minimalistic. And credible. Let's say credible. Don't put the and, just say credible. Get rid of the ampersand. Okay. Go ahead, submit it. So again, notice how these commands are going to change the way your output comes out. Okay. So we enter, let's see if it's generating any of our images, and we can go from there. And then go to the previous one also. Let's go to the previous one and see what's happening there. There you go. Magic, right? So click on that. Yeah, it is paid. So it is free for a certain account, but after that it gets paid. But again, I would say stay till the end, right? And then we will see how this goes. Notice now, you've got all these layouts, right? You can do whatever you want with this. Now let's go to the next one. Let's see what happens in the next one. And you can always give it prompts. You can make it change colors, you know, and you will have many different experiences there. And by the time it's done, it's about 8 minutes over. So how many minutes did I have? 39 plus 8. So it's a 47 minutes or whatever I was able to get these versions done, right? These initial ideations taken care of, right? While we were answering questions and all that stuff. And most of these prompts are standard. So scroll down, let's look at the new one. Is this the new one? Yeah, there you go, right? Now, my question is, would this be would any of you, like how many of you would say that, yeah, you have some really interesting candidates that you can deploy for your portfolio? How many of you would say that? Just type in yes. Right. And this is what it is. You've got your initial ideation, you got your color combinations, you got all of that. Now, you know, when we do it in another 2 days, we bring in all the additional tools into play, right? It's going to be even more powerful than this. Right? Awesome. Cool. Let's stop. Aditi, you have a question? Can we go back to the presentation, Rajiv? Okay, Aditi, I guess, does not have a question. Davis, do you have a question? All right, I'm just gonna lower their hand. Okay, Mr. iPhone or Miss iPhone, you have a question? Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. So thank you, Sandeep. 40 minutes it took for us to get this going, right? So this is what it is, and this is the power, right? So tomorrow, day after tomorrow, again, we are going to literally do this, and you guys are going to learn how to do this. And you guys are going to take this to the next level. Okay. And that's what the idea is. So let's go to the next presentation. And then, sorry, the next slide, please.
Excuse me.
Prasad, people are saying they can't unmute themselves. The host needs to allow it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Tejas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you raise your hand, the host will unmute you. Okay. So again, join the party if you're interested. Again, this thing is going to be streamed live on YouTube. So if you want to watch it on YouTube, feel free to watch it, engage with us there, right? For those of you that want to continue your journey with us and kind of get engaged into the workshops and be a member, right? I really, encourage you to become a member and then kind of get in. And the reason I put the 990 is I really want people who are serious about doing this, right? Because we put a lot of effort, and I want to make sure that you are putting the same amount of engagement into this. So, and of course, we are going to have workshops like this pretty much almost every other month, right? We have exclusive R&D groups. And by the way, all of this AI stuff that I'm doing was the result of research and development done by our volunteers as part of the member group, right? They focused on, I'm not sure if they're here, but Aruni, Mukesh, and Lakshmikant, if they're here, if you can just show up, we'd love to give you some recognition. Are they here? Okay, so those three guys, they basically went in, did the research, struggled, made all of this happen, right? And this is what it is. So it is members doing stuff for other members and creating knowledge and spreading it for everybody else, right? And so this is what it is. So if you're interested, come join the member, become a member, and we can do some really interesting and amazing stuff. Okay.
Hello.
So there's some error with the QR code, it says. So if you can put the URL, copy and paste the URL, that will be great.
Hello.
Yes, Davis, go for it.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I had a
Can you
question.
turn on your
on
camera
that.
if it's possible?
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
You may.
Go ahead.
Can you see me?
Yes.
I don't see myself.
We
Yeah,
can see
hi
you.
everyone. Okay, so I had a question on that prompt part, but I think the class went ahead and I'm late. Actually, host, you should just let us talk and let us go through the questions and all. So it was late. Maybe I will ask you in the next session.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to do all of this. So don't worry about, any of this stuff, kaise kiya, right? I just did it to show you what is capable, what is possible, right? Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you are going to do it with your own hands. You will figure it out. You will learn it.
Yeah, but the only problem I have is that prompt part. I mean, the hyphen V2, those understanding what is that, and in detail knowledge. If we get how to write the prompt. I mean, basically we know how to write the prompt, but now hyphen V2, those are added newly, so that is very difficult to understand.
Right. No, don't worry. We will teach you all that.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Go ahead, Aditi. Can you turn on your camera?
Yeah.
And if you could just introduce yourself, that'd be great. So everybody knows who you are and be nice.
Okay. So hello everyone. I'm Devi Smita Patra. I'm basically from Odisha. I'm just working as a senior creative associate by the terms creative, don't judge me. I'm a creative person. I'm working in a pharma company, and my work is not so creative. That's the reason I joined this webinar, and I just wanted to. Since so many months, I'm trying to be creative, but it is not happening.
See, and creativity is one of those things where you need to have friends, right? So generally, I find
Yeah.
myself when I'm creative, I have a friend and I'm throwing ideas. And this is what I found with AI. I literally found a friend where I can throw ideas and the AI will give me results.
Yes, yes.
So for me, I
I'm
feel that AI is a support for my creativity.
Yeah. Even we will use it. I have been
Awesome.
using MidJourney, ChatGPT since some months back, but not full-fledged actually.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Davis.
I'm sorry,
So
my
go ahead,
camera is
Sneha.
somewhere and I'm looking somewhere.
No
Excuse
worries.
me.
Go ahead, Sneha. If you could very quickly introduce yourself and
Yeah.
was it Aditi who came first or who was it first?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, so go ahead, Aditi. So quickly introduce
Uh,
yourself and ask your question.
I'm a UX designer in a company called, I don't know if like we mentioned companies, it's a low code platform that I work for, and I stay in Mumbai. I had a very simple question. Like MidJourney would throw images at you, which are like raster images. Have you come across any platform wherein, I mean, if I phrase it better, it would actually give me like some basic layout or code that I can just,
So there is a platform called UIZard, UIZARD, that does some of that stuff. Then, there are a lot of other guys that are promising, and we have like a screenshot with a lot of tools. But the problem is every tool is strong in one place, weak in another place, right? So you go to that place, creativity is not there, but it'll give you like a block, right? So that is where the challenge is. So my preference as somebody is to basically look at it and say, can I generate a layout that I can manually do it, right? So whatever I'm manually doing will eventually in another year or so will be automated. But for now, can I generate something that will reduce my manual effort to the minimum? So everyone will have manual effort, right? So, and then the criteria is manual effort minimum, creativity maximum. So which tool helps me do that?
Okay. I guess like till they're like developing, maybe in another year or so, we'll have like tools which kind of.
Yeah, and I would say it's not even a year, we're talking months, right? So, and by the way, if you're interested, we will have a mailing list. So sign up for that mailing list and, for AI tools, and anytime any new AI tool comes, we will evaluate it and we will basically share it out with you if we think it's good enough, right? So just make sure you sign up for it and then we can send you those alerts. So I have a few more slides. Let me just go through those slides and I'll take all the questions. So can we go to and keep your hands raised, so then I will ask in that same order. So if you drop your hand and raise it again, then, your order you will lose your order. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so the challenges for the next 2 days are basically, how do you write a professional design brief? And again, a huge part of us being professionals is about learning to communicate in a clear and unambiguous manner, right? So we are going to learn how to do a professional design brief, how to ideate. And notice I did not say how to create and use, right? I'm saying how do you ideate on workflows? How do you ideate on wireframe? These are the interaction design components. And then how do you ideate on visual screens? And all of these 4 things are what you're going to learn in the next 2 days, okay, hands-on. So that's what it is. That's what we are going to do for the next 2 days. And so for those of you who are working, so there's a challenge for you. There's a specific challenge. Remember, some of you asked about certificates, and I'm going to tell you about certificates. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, now here are a bunch of tools. Galileo, Genius are ones that are pending. Stable Diffusion is there, MidJourney is there. So we have a lot of tools that are out there, right? And I also like Lexica quite a bit, which is based on Stable Diffusion. So, you have a lot of tools. And again, these tools are literally going to increase on a weekly, monthly basis because there's a huge amount of funding and energy that's going into this. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, here are other samples that we did with other tools, what they were doing, and they came up with pretty interesting websites, pretty interesting layouts. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so here's one where you can basically, I believe there are tools where you can sketch out a layout and you create the screen for you. So that's another variation. So we will also share that. So wireframes are like DALI did really interesting wireframes, right? So the screens are from MidJourney. So let's go to the next slide. All right. So today I've just shown you what is possible. Okay. So tomorrow, stay tuned for tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Let's go to the next slide. I want to show the challenge. Okay. So if you want a certificate, right, you need to participate in all 3-day challenges and you need to make submissions of high quality. That means don't just put some random stuff and say, ho gaya, right? You have to give me high quality submissions. Okay. And we will read it and we'll engage with you on that. Okay. So the key things that you need to do is follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So these are the follow and subscribe on these 3 platforms. Okay. Participate in all 3 challenges and make submissions of high quality. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Here's day 1 challenge. I want you for the next 2 days, what we are going to do is you think about a problem that you want to solve. What kind of a website do you want to create? Okay. You will, by the end of those 2 days, create your own website. Okay. So you will write or generate a problem statement of your own. Okay. For 3 days. Then the next thing is join the WhatsApp group for further instructions. Okay. If you're not on WhatsApp, join it. And the next one is for today's LinkedIn post, type in interested to get a checklist of all the prompts that we've used. Okay. So these are the 3 things we need to do. So everybody on the same page, guys? Or any questions? Just say yes, and you know what the challenge for day 1 is, because you have to do all 3 challenges in a timely manner. So if somebody submits, we say 11:59 p.m. and then you submit at 12 a.m., you do not get your certificate. Okay, cool. Yes, only members continue on day 2 and day 3. But for you who do not want to be members, you can, this content is also put live on YouTube. So you can watch it on YouTube for free and engage with it there. Okay, cool. So I'm not sure what you mean by can I repeat? So about the certificate. Okay, so the certificate is every day you will get 1 challenge. Okay, you have to complete the challenge for that day. Okay, so the challenge for today is this, because it's 3 days event. The challenge for today is you have to write your own personal problem statement. What problem do you want to solve in the next 2 days, right? What website do you want to create, or what do you want to ideate? Okay, so that is what you are basically writing. Okay, just like we created the challenge for today is I want to create my portfolio page, right? So that's what my challenge was. You create your challenge, unique to you. Okay, once that is done, then there's a WhatsApp group. You join the WhatsApp group where you'll get further instruction on what to do in the challenge, because you have to sign up for ChatGPT and all that. So there'll be a lot of back and forth questions. So that's why we said we'll take it on WhatsApp to help people get on ChatGPT and all that, right? Then the last activity you need to do is on LinkedIn, on the college LinkedIn page, we will actually post a summary of what we did today. And if you're interested in getting the checklist, you type in interested. Okay. But we need to have your email address. You need to be subscribed so I can send you the email, right? So if you are not subscribed and you say interested, I cannot reach out to you. Okay. All right. So Nagasai says you don't understand. So join the WhatsApp group. You will get the instruction there in greater detail. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So with that, the session is over. Thank you very much for your patience. But for those of you that have questions, stay back. I'm going to be here for another 20 minutes. I'll answer all your questions. Okay. Those of you that want to drop off, have fun. We'll see you soon. Good. Go ahead, Abhimanyu.
Yeah. So, hi, sir. I was asking that does this prompt will work in other platforms also, like DALI and other image generating platforms? The prompt which we have used in this.
Yeah, so we have used, no, so you have to modify the prompt, right? So even if you're like, MidJourney, again, this is what I say. Every tool has its own language, has its own syntax. Okay. So you have to know the language and syntax of that tool. You have to know what the strengths and weaknesses are. So for example, if some other tool is good with fonts, then you want to define fonts there, right? You want to say, I want Poppins, I want Open Sans, this size and all that. You want to define it there, right? So it is important to understand what the strengths and weaknesses of all these tools are so that you can create a prompt for them. Okay. There's actually a whole subject called prompt engineering, right, for AIs. Because this is a full ek semester ka learning hai isme, right? But again, for the purposes we are looking at, 90% of the command will remain the same, 10% will change due to the uniqueness of that specific tool.
One more thing I would like to ask that is there any way in ChatGPT we use coding also, and today we have done design part. So is there any way so that we can combine this coding design prompt with the coding?
ChatGPT actually generates code for you.
So I'm saying that the prompt, suppose today we have generated the text. Okay. So can we generate a code for the same text?
Yes, you can.
Okay. And is it the same way which we did till the process we have followed till now?
No. So you have to do slightly differently, right? So in ChatGPT, the way you would have to do it is you have to break that screen down into smaller pieces. Okay.
Okay.
And you have to give a very tight description for each of those modules.
Okay. Thank you.
So that is a little bit more advanced way of working with it. So I would not recommend, don't worry about it right now. But, I've seen ChatGPT generate whole WordPress plugins in a heartbeat. I've seen GPT-3 actually generate the whole of Instagram in under 30 seconds. Right? So it is very possible, but for now, I would say that's an advanced topic. Let's focus on getting our competence with using these tools first, and then we get into the advanced stuff. Fair enough?
Yes.
So Abhimanyu, can you quickly introduce yourself?
Yes, sure, sir. So, right, I'm Abhimanyu Shukla from UP Institute of Design, Noida. I'm a UI UX design student, basically. I'm a third-year student.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah.
So one piece of advice for everybody that's here, never call yourself a UI UX designer.
Okay.
Right? Because UI is a subset of UX. It's like a doctor saying, I'm a doctor compounder. Of course, the doctor can do a compounder's work, but he never says, I'm a doctor compounder, right? You are UX designer if you want to be that.
Sure, sir. Next time I'll take care of it.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you so
And
much.
it's not just you, right? Lots of people have that. So I keep saying that. So go ahead, Chirag. If you could introduce yourself and ask your question. You have to unmute yourself. No. Is he able to unmute himself, guys?
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Hi. Actually, I'm into design field as a student from last 11 years almost, and as a working professional from almost 9 years. Currently, I'm working as a product designer in Microsoft, so I have two challenges which I am facing with these AI things which are in my mind. Like there can be security concerns which I'm thinking about, like if we are ideating on any idea, and that can actually like we don't want to put it on any forum, and we are putting it on AIs like ChatGPT and everything. They can ideate, but I might be worried about getting it leaked, even if I use any plugin as well, because right now I'm not seeing any as such plugins, but I think plugins will be required in future because the companies like SAP, Salesforce, or be it any big company, they do have their design systems. If they are already like suppose in SAP you have to create multiple dashboards for different purposes, because the design language is same which you want to use. So you will not be using these things to be too much creative, because for consumer applications it is fine, but for enterprises and all, where there are limitations in like existing product and where do you want to put a particular thing into, so I think plugins will be required. But will not it be a problem in terms of security and all?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, right? Security is a huge concern, right? And again, I mean, think about this, right? So I mean, how many, what are all the things you tell Google?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Google knows that you're taking X medication. It knows that you have a dog. It knows you live in what address, right? It knows all that stuff.
Yeah. And
Right?
even I was
So-
thinking like here, the time which we have taken, visually we think very well. And there is one more practice as well while wireframing and all, that you can cut paste from many locations and put a wireframe into it, into the face.
Mhm.
Because right now, whatever the results which we are getting also is not that much crisp that we can use it directly or something, and we are not sure what result it is giving. Even the prompts
Right.
are much advanced as well, but still we cannot
Right.
expect much things. But if we know that what is good, what is bad in terms of design, we can actually cut and paste from Dribble itself to fasten the results.
Yeah, yeah. But again, and I think you make two really good points there, right? And I love this conversation because the first thing you're saying is you need to know what is good and bad, right?
Yeah.
That is absolutely important. As a designer, we cannot compromise on your knowledge, right? So right now,
Yeah.
earlier you were thinking my first job is going to be, I'm going to be the junior guy, somebody's going to teach me what to do, right? Today, you are going to be the junior guy with 2 direct reports. And both these reports are 2 AIs that are reporting to you, right? You need to be able to critique the design, right? Just like your boss is able to critique your work, you have to critique the design generated by the AI. So your ability or your depth of knowledge that you need to have as you're getting in the industry needs to be deeper, right? I mean, if you're riding a horse, your reaction time is probably, say, about 10 seconds. You're riding a car that's going 120 miles, your reaction time has to be half a second, right? That's the same way, like your abilities have to increase,
Yeah.
proportionally to be able to handle the AI, to manage the AI. Otherwise, a lot of mistakes will happen, right? In fact, we had this one use case where we said, draft a legal agreement, right? And this person came back to me and said, this legal agreement is good to go, right? And I read the legal agreement, dude, if you give this legal agreement, humko apne kapde bech ke chale jana padega, because the way the legal agreement was done was exactly opposite, right? The other party would have all the power and we would have no power.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, it blew my mind. But the point is, at this point now, ChatGPT knows I'm trying to do some kind of an agreement.
Yeah.
Right? It knows that there is a legal issue and it is basically given me a recommendation that's completely wrong.
Right.
Right? But because there is so much text, I did not know where to read.
Right.
Right? And so these are things that we need to do. So as a designer, your capability has to be much deeper and you need to be thinking. Now, second point, you said, I can probably go to Behance and all that. But my argument is, yes, you could, right? But how long are you going to search? Because that's a search problem, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's giving you recommendations. It's a very different mindset, right? So again, you're looking at time, right? So there you're not ideating, you're in the search process. But here, because you're getting feedback so fast, you can be more creative and ideate with that product, with that tool. Right? But thank you very much, Chirag. So really good points. Thank you. So go ahead, Kondal. So by the way, did I answer your question, Chirag? Just do a thumbs up if you can, if I was able to answer or no. You unmute. Yeah, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah. I think in terms of security and all, this is something like I think which will be a kind of debate only. So there is no particular answer to that. But yeah, for searching and all, yes, you have answered it somehow. But still, there is a point like for search also, I need to be better in terms of prompts. If I need it, if I know what exactly I want, maybe because as MidJourney was taking whatever XYZ time, it was also I was not sure. Yeah, but if it can be iterative, more iterative, maybe it will be better for me to, instead of search, I can give it commands and all, and whatever the running power it takes and the cost it takes, maybe that will also matter in that time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And even privacy, right? So when you mention about plugins, if they come in, it's going to be more private. There is nothing private, right?
Yeah.
A plugin is simply another interface, but the data is still going to the same pool.
Right.
Right. So we have to be really careful about that. So, and again, one of the exercises that we do is we sanitize the document. right? So, but even then, there's still some context that is necessary to be given to the tool so that you're getting that information. But as far as possible, we sanitize and we do not give our final recommendation thoughts and all that. We are very careful about that.
Got it. Yeah.
Cool. So go ahead, Kondal.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Prasad, for such an insightful session. I think I was really struggling with ChatGPT for past few months. I think your session, I think I'm fortunate that I found this session on a lucky day when I was going through my LinkedIn. So I quickly registered for it. And it was very, very helpful and very informative. And I'm also, as a representing the participants, I'm really sorry for that. Someone from the participants saying that they did not find it useful. I don't know what they were expecting from the session, but I think you need not to take that seriously. Maybe people come join with a different intentions, but I think you really responded to even that message really well, and I really appreciate in a many fronts. And thanks a lot for all this. And coming to the questions, Prasad, regarding this. So since with this exercises like MidJourney, ChatGPT, so we're able to see a design draft. So in the same manner, I hope I think that the evolving AI can help us to even generate the code as you are answering to Abhi's questions. So can this also generate the wireframes and prototypes? I hope. So can you answer me how soon that can happen, or whether it is already able to make it? If not the tools that we already seen in the demo, is there any other tools that can generate
So
the wireframe?
I know some folks who are working specifically on this problem, right?
Okay.
Which is generating code. And even OpenAI has a complete team dedicated to coding, how to generate code, complete team, right? So this is going to happen sooner than later. Think about months, not years, right? Maybe a month or two down the line, you will start seeing, and already ChatGPT already does a lot of coding, right? So it's going to be it's going to evolve very, very quickly.
Oh.
Right. But thank you very much, Kondal. I mean, every once in a while, there'll always be somebody that will make a random comment and it's all fun. And, I get it, right? I mean,
yes, I think I think you took it in a great way, like main stuff, making that big points. Yeah, I think I'm really.
It's fun. It's fun. And again, you don't know what the other person is, right? Where they're coming from. So
exactly. Yeah.
Maybe it's okay. It's good.
Yeah.
It's all in good,
thanks a lot.
I think, good spirit. Thank you, Kondal. Could you quickly tell us your background, who you are? Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Prasad, I was in a situation a decade ago where I wanted to transform myself from a typical graphic designer or who's dependent on mostly on Photoshop and Illustrated to show my creative skills or ability to transform something into a illustration and a graphic. Then I was thinking there's a more beyond just the art form of a design. So that's where I was looking for a change. Then I noticed that there is some thing called UX interaction design, where our design and creative knowledge can be taken into the next level, where it can help find the solutions for the businesses and can help us design the better products or websites. So that's where I joined myself in a HCI long back. It was, I think, 2013. But right after that, the opportunity that I got to work, though the title called UX designer or UX researcher, but I feel there is a lot of gap from what I'm doing in my UX role, then what industry is really moving into the name of UX. So that's where I keep on searching for the the sources to update myself and acquaint myself with the ongoing trends and tools. So I
Awesome.
think
Thank you,
as
Kundan.
you are the one of the source, yeah, you are the one of the source, even not just now, even before a decade back, because I was referring to how Yahoo is able to find such a search engine way back, very long back, even before Google came with the similar solution. So I was able to find one of the I think in-house or maybe in-office close circle discussion, or maybe you or someone with your surname, sharing your surname. Maybe I don't know whether it's a Satyam Kantamneni or Prasad Kantamneni. I don't know whether
Right.
you are the same, whether it's a Satya Prasad Kantamneni. So they were
Right.
lecturing the inside group within their office, saying that how the Yahoo search solution came and how Yahoo could not market it well at the point of time. Maybe the market was really not looking for that kind of solution at that point of time. But when Google came with the same search engine, then Google was able to market it
Right.
well and could benefit out of
Awesome.
it.
Thanks,
So
Kundan.
that's
So
where
I have to cut you off
yeah,
now because there's like lots of people, but thank you very much. And
I
we hope
understand.
to,
Yeah,
we hope to keep engaged. Okay. Thank you for your
sure.
comments and your feedback. Okay.
Thanks.
So I see an iPhone, but I don't see a name. So if you could turn on your camera and tell us a little bit about yourself and ask your question, that would be great. Awesome. So Praneeth, why don't you go next, and then when iPhone is ready, he or she can basically get engaged. Go ahead, Praneeth.
Sure, sure. So, hello, sir. How are you, first of all?
Hey, yeah.
After a long time, actually.
Yes, yes.
So, for everyone, so I'm Praneeth Ravi, and I'm working as a UX researcher and strategist. And I have been associated with College for some time. So this is specifically for the person who was saying this is not a worthy class. Maybe I don't know why he was saying that, but this is I guess the second year I'm being into college. So by the way, I just renewed my membership. So I actually had didn't get the time. So but yeah, today I just did that and just joined. So
awesome.
yeah, so that's it. And so actually, I'm going to ask you something in line with Chirag, and I definitely wanted to ask that, and Chirag was on point to it. So it is something as a researcher, I have seen that there are a couple of guys actually, just replicating the results of ChatGPT or maybe some research artifacts. They just get out, get out into some kind of AI tools, put out some kind of prompt, and then just copy that as it is, and they use it for maybe multiple products on I don't know. So that is actually creating some kind of a biasness somehow, and it's going to have that same kind of a design language for many of the products. Somehow it is going to happen, and it is not something that the companies might recognize in the initial phases, but they are going to come up with in the later stages. So how do we actually cope up with that? So is there any way, because I have seen even JP Morgan to Goldman Sachs or something like that, so they have kind of banned the use of AI, especially the Chat GPT. So are we actually doing something about it on the industry, because you are more aware of it? So just wanted to share.
See, I think the simplest statement is, I don't think we can change the way somebody else behaves, right? We change the way we behave. That's why if you look at the way I talk about AI, AI is always a level below you, right? You are controlling the tool, right? The tool is not controlling you, right? And even if you look at the examples today, look at how many mistakes the AI did, right?
Absolutely.
So it's always going to make those mistakes. The only thing is it's going to get better and better. At some point, the mistakes will be hidden. So it's like right now, it's like saying, 5 out of 10 times I'm going to make a mistake, but tomorrow 1 out of 10 times it will make a mistake. So what will happen is we start relying more and more on the tool, and that one time will kill us. You know what I mean? So that is where a competent designer is always going to be in control of the environment, right? You're always going to be in control of your tools. You are always going to be double checking, right? And so there is also different techniques. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about other techniques, right? So I'm going to talk about, okay, for every artifact, what is your contribution? What is the contribution of the AI, right? And I'm going to break it down into steps. And I'm also going to talk about this different concept called contrarian ideation, right? So how do you work with an AI to do contrarian ideation, right? And so that's a technique that you'll learn tomorrow and day after tomorrow. But again, there is a set process, and you just literally follow that process, and then you will be okay, right? But mindset, most importantly, the mindset, never be in an outsourcing mindset. If you're in outsourcing mindset, you will get outsourced.
Yes. So we actually practice this in our firm, like we kind of minimize the use. So there are a couple of times when people come to us like, anyway, we have to do certain things very prompt. I mean, our clients are obviously like, they want the results very soon. So they, so even some of them recommend us to use certain tools, but we kind of tell like it is not going to get up with some good creativity. So that is something we do, but sometimes I feel like, are we going back because others are using it? But yeah, that is the concern that we are facing.
I think we will go back a little bit, right? Because when you get a lot of automation, people will not know how to do it, right? So then there'll be new norms, new understanding, a new philosophy, new workflows will generate out of that. So there will be some level of backpedaling. There will be challenges. Anytime a new technology comes, there will always be some level of confusion and churn, and we just have to power through it, because that's what we will do. Right. And ultimately, AI is not going away. It's going to be there. Literally, ChatGPT, the biggest problem, the reason they released, at least from what I read, is they could not find people to give it enough use cases. Right. So they basically launched ChatGPT so people could use it and give it use cases. They were not expecting that it will be so popular, right? I mean, even now you see it crashes every once in a while, right? It continuously crashes. But the point is, now they have so much data that literally now people are willing to pay for it. Even though it is a product that was launched for testing, people are willing to pay for it.
Right.
So I think this thing is going to change, and we just have to keep working from our mindset perspective. That's what it is. So thanks, Praneeth. So in the interest of time, I'm going to basically be able to go up to Tejas, Simran, and Achyut. Is it okay if I leave you out for today? Awesome. Thanks, Simran. Achyut? Okay, go ahead, Divyashri. If you could quickly introduce yourself and state your question or comment.
So sure, Achyut here. Sure, sir. Sorry, I was not able to unmute. Definitely, you can take it later.
Awesome. Thanks, Achyut. Go ahead, Divyashri.
Sir, actually, I'm a graphic designer. I have a career break, so I'm just preparing for UX right now. I have a question like, if I need to work from remote side and people working on the on-site, they understand the psychology of the UX process very much. How effective the AI will be in the future, like working in the remote side?
See, I think one thing to understand is as AI comes in, right? I mean, if you look at the commands and the prompts and all that, like people are talking about, will this generate the code, right? It will eventually generate all the code, right? But what is interesting and fascinating about this is the roles are getting merged together, right? So the engineering is getting merged, research is getting merged. So a lot of these elements are starting to blur. Okay. So that is one element that you should expect will change in your workplace, right? So eventually, as this happens, you as a UX person have to drive the process, right? So you have to basically think about driving the process. And one of the biggest struggles that I see is driving a process, right? Which is educating. You have to spend more time in educating people and getting there, but which is fine because your life is going to be easier because the mechanical work is going to be automated, right? So my argument is, if you understand the UX process, you know how to make it work for you, then you will have more time to engage on the process level and you don't have to spend that much time on looking at the tools. But even now, I mean, to be honest, even the stuff that we designed and developed, right, it's still going to take about another 1.5 days or 2 days more to kind of give out the final product. Does it answer your question, Divyashri? Okay, I guess it did. Go ahead, Vaibhav.
Hello, sir. I'm a contemporary artist. Just recently, I got engaged into the college community, and I got so much interested because before than that, earlier I've been through lots of boot camps, but it was all about UI, and I was just not able to get indulged in it because I was just into the dilemma like how to approach to that design. It's all about the screen level design. So how can we do the brainstorming and how can we make the strategy? So I'm feeling so lucky that I could be able to be the part of this community. So my question is that currently right now I'm working for a portfolio website, and today luckily we are just dealing with that case too. So my question: how can I incorporate the UI things, the AI things, to my personal website? Because already I have taken the help of the tool, which is automatically AI generated website it has created. Now I'm in a dilemma, like should I just rely on ChatGPT or MidJourney for that, or should I just go with that? Which one would be beneficial, and how can I be more, how can I more rely on these tools?
See, at the end of the day, your portfolio is a reflection of you, right? So my advice is like, okay, what are you trying to generate, right? Are you trying to generate content? Are you trying to generate visuals? What are you trying to generate? So when you're doing your portfolio, right, you might say there's certain visuals that you want, okay? Like a hexagon of this color that has this kind of information. You can actually give it to, at least the initial, what do you call it? It's like the Illustrator versus a Photoshop kind of an argument. Illustrator can give you like these, interesting, unique shapes, and then the Photoshop helps you scale it up, right? That's the same way, like think about MidJourney as your Illustrator. It can help you ideate interesting shapes, icons, visuals that you can use, stunning visuals that you can use, right? So if you may not want to do the whole layout perspective. But again, my question back to you is, well, what do you want to do? Do you want content or do you want visuals? As far as what is your problem statement?
I just want a website to basically just like which suits on my personality and the type of artwork that I'm making. I'm working on a dark type of artwork that is more about the seriousness. It's more about the human anxiety and the problem. My artwork is basically based on that. So I just want color theme, the fonts, everything related with that. But I don't know how to incorporate AI things like to basically just make it happen.
Okay, so you're basically looking at, you have to develop the website also. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So that will continue to be a challenge. Okay. So the way you want to basically, and I'm just going to talk at a very high level, this actually is the advanced topic, but the way you want to do it is you want to basically list out all your sections and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what you want to do is and again, ideally, the simplest path is the best path if you do not know coding. Okay. The simplest path is you have tools like WordPress and all of those, right? You can literally ask see if there are any themes that work, and you integrate your graphics into it to give it your personality, graphics and color schema. Okay. Let us say you have some more coding expertise, right? Then you can basically generate a layout, play with it, and then you can give instructions for ChatGPT, right? Give me a WordPress theme that does this, right? That looks like this. So ChatGPT should, in theory, be able to generate at least 90% of that theme, and it will probably require some level of debugging that, if you have the coding expertise, you can probably fairly it's a straightforward game, right? Now, if you can develop the screen all the way from the ground, like if you're hosting your own website in HTML and all that, that's actually a lot more simpler. You can say, you take that requirement, you get it into Figma, and what you can do is like, you can do like a inspect whatever. And I know there's Figma, there are tools that will convert Figma to HTML. I'm not sure. Has anybody come across those plugins? Simran, you are our Figma guru, right? So, Bhai, have you seen any plugins which will convert from visuals to HTML? You are not able to unmute. So this is the beauty of it, right? Within the community, we have so many smart guys that there's somebody or the other that's already solved the problem.
So there's a plugin called HTML to Design that takes a page and brings it into Figma with complete editable assets and everything. But as far as images to images to Figma, that I think there are some things that are there. I haven't really dived into that per se, but yeah, not too sure about it. But HTML to design is the plugin that converts.
Mukund says there's one that will convert from Figma to Webflow. So you have a lot of these tools that are like low code that can probably help you. So, maybe this is something that we can discuss towards the end on the third day, where we can kind of figure out if there's any other tools and all that. And there's I think a lot of people are already doing research. Designed to email in HTML. So there must be, so there you go. Chirag says there's something for, So Chirag, if you can share that plugin name or whatever, I think that would be good. So we can see that. But yeah. So Vaibhav, the simplest path then, is one. And then the more complex one is if you want to do your own, you have your own hosting or whatever, you generate the HTML, plug it in there and make sure all the links are done. So that's the way you want to approach it. Okay. So hopefully, there's a builder.io. So there's a lot of tools. So we can hopefully discuss this and you can play around with them in the next 2 days. And then you can get back to us and tell us what worked or didn't work. How about that, Vaibhav?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Vaibhav. Go ahead, Sneha.
Hello, sir. So basically, I am from the field of psychology and I'm very new to the domain of UX. And I want to make a career shift in UX design because I feel that psychology plays a great role in designing and stuff. So could you suggest me something that is a little bit more simpler as compared to what we did today? Because I understood the concept, but I need something to a more beginner level that could help me understand these concepts related to AI.
And don't worry about it. We will do the simpler stuff. We will go do baby steps tomorrow. Today, I wanted to show what was possible. Right? Now, see, now that you know what is possible, now you're interested, right? So you want to get there. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow is all about helping you get there. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. Thanks, Neha. Go ahead, Tejas. Mute nahi kar pa rahe. Unmute.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my 2 questions about the challenge that we have. One is you mentioned write the problem statement. Where do we write those? Where do we put those up?
Talk to Rajiv on WhatsApp. Say, where do I put it? He will tell you.
Okay. Second is if we somehow at the end of the challenge, we know what the output is. Is it a static design or can we go crazy and if we can somehow possibly get ChatGPT to create some HTML code and then
go crazy, man. Let's see how far we can go, right? Minimum standard, my thing is by the time day 3 is over, you should be able to get these mock-ups, right? So at least these layouts.
Okay. So JPEG.
But JPEG or PNG, whatever, doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But that's a stretch goal, right? Let's see how far we can go. If some of you are curious, okay, how far I can go, I can take it to HTML, I can code it up and post it. Let's see what we can do with it.
Right. And yeah, okay. And so for others like Chirag and those people who had concern about security, the founder of this website, which is Future Tool AI, he currently keeps posting things which are the legal things, like how MidJourney is maybe taking artworks from the other artists and then kind of copying it. So if they want to, they have no interest about that, then maybe they can follow those channels on YouTube.
Right.
So there are a lot of people who are discussing very openly about what is legal and what is not legal. And if they want, they can do that. And my third, maybe the fourth thing is, if you guys are scared right now of just a text or an image-based AI, there's going to be a general AI in the future, which will actually gonna be taking jobs of people and automating a lot of things. Just think about that scenario. So right now where the AI is, it's nothing, but when the general AI comes in, which is one AI doing everything for everything, everyone, so that would be a time to be kind of worried and not now.
To be honest, Tejas, I think the general AI is a ways off.
Yeah, it's still further. It's people are predicting it might be 2060, but then As in, imagine the job scenarios at that time, right? You might not even have some digital screen. It might be some sort of projection or just like a mic, and that's it. You might not even have to design a screen or anything. It's just a mic on a digital watch or something, and then that's it.
No, here's the interesting thing, right? Now, what is interesting is even today, you can do a lot of that stuff, right? For tasks.
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine that, this is one of the thought exercises that we're looking at is, okay, what do you need to do to create an image? All we need to do is somehow connect. And when we looked at the prompts, when we did all the prompts for our training for the next 2 days, we realized these prompts are pretty much cut and dry. They're standardized, right? And we said, if you know the prompts are standardized, there's only 2 or 3 pieces of information that are required, right? Imagine if you just spoke into your mic and the system transcribed it and then automatically it went into the ChatGPT. Right? Now, ChatGPT, whatever outcome came out of the ChatGPT, now you're imagining that that system is automatically taking it and modifying it and somehow doing some magic and then putting it to MidJourney. Right? So what is interesting is we are realizing even today is there are lots of AI tools that are capable at solving small problems, right? Now, there is an opportunity where you can look at how do you connect these AIs in interesting ways to solve the larger problem, to get the task done. And that is possible even today.
Yeah.
Right. But for me, the way I look at it is, yeah, your productivity is going to increase like crazy, right? So what people were expecting you would do in 2 weeks, like this work was like, this would be a 3-week job technically, right? Yeah. But we are now able to do it in 2 days. Now imagine the mindset, like 3 weeks is 15 days to 2 days, right? It's like crazy. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Tejas. So, Davis and Soumitra, I'm sorry, I cannot take your comments and questions today. We are already running way too late. But, if you want to join up maybe 10 minutes early tomorrow, I can maybe take your questions and go from there. But tomorrow is going to be awesome fun. Hi, Tina, how are you doing? I just saw you. So tomorrow is going to be awesome fun. It's going to be completely hands-on. So make sure you get into WhatsApp to get instructions so you're ready for tomorrow. Okay, sure. Thanks, guys. Bye.